Hello, everyone. This is Raghav and Alexander from the US-India Business Council, and we have the pleasure of introducing to you Chairman Neil Chatterjee of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission of the United States of America. Welcome to Delhi, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So we'd like to know what brings you here to India, and what is it that American and Indian regulators can learn from each other?
Well, there's a number of reasons why I'm here, ranging from personal to professional. As you can decipher from my name, I am the son of Indian immigrants, and having the opportunity to come here in a professional capacity as chairman of the U.S. Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is a real personal honor. I think it's remarkable and speaks volumes about both the United States and India that I, the son of Indian immigrants, in just one generation can have this opportunity to come and represent my country in this capacity is a real personal honor. Professionally, there's tremendous opportunity for collaboration between the U.S. and India. I've been meeting with my regulatory counterparts at the CERC, as well as a number of ministry offices, and have been doing so for the past couple of years. Our primary areas of focus are on markets. India is looking to go to a gas-based economy, looking to accelerate the deployment of renewables, and really looking at reforming their electricity markets. We in the United States, particularly at FERC, have 3 decades of experience overseeing the competitive wholesale markets, and we're the foremost experts in the world in this area, and we're really sharing our expertise with our Indian colleagues. And I think the State Department, the Department of Energy, USAID have all been very pleased with this collaboration, because that's the best form of diplomacy, aiding our allies. The other area of focus is on LNG. At the Commission, we are responsible for evaluating applications of energy infrastructure, including liquefied natural gas export facilities. Last year alone, the FERC evaluated and certificated 11 LNG export facilities. There's a tremendous opportunity in the U.S. as we become a net exporter of energy for the first time in 60 years, and there's no question that there's a deep interest on both the part of the United States and India to partner in this area, beneficial to both of our economies, beneficial to both countries geopolitically, and beneficial to both countries environmentally. Clean U.S. LNG, displacing more carbon-intense sources of fuel in India, will lower India's carbon footprint and help mitigate global carbon emissions.
That sounds great. In your speech, you had referred to the importance of fostering innovation and promoting competition. And how does the American regulatory system really do this, and what can we learn from it in India?
So the key is, again, competition. That's why I'm such a big believer in markets and market forces, and why we are so eager to share our experience and expertise in markets with our Indian counterparts. I think markets drive cost discipline, which benefits consumers, but they also drive innovation. And I think we have seen firsthand in the U.S. The deployment of new technologies, the deployment of new resources. The approach we have taken has centered around removing barriers to entry rather than focusing on regulations or mandates. We're allowing market forces and competition to really drive that innovation and cost discipline.
Excellent. So when it comes to gas, we have ancillary services regulation on the table, and interestingly, if we are to reach that 450 gigawatt capacity of renewable energy that the Indian government has targeted till 2030, it is obvious that LNG and gas-fired generation would play a key role in balancing it. That said, how do we ensure that gas as an ancillary service, gas-fired generation as an ancillary service, is competitive vis-a-vis energy storage using batteries or pump storage and others?
I think gas and India's focus on going to a gas-based economy, they can learn a lot from the U.S. experience. We have seen a tremendous transition in the U.S. power grid. It's interesting to think The last time we did a major energy bill in the United States was the Energy Policy Act of 2005. At that time, we were looking at citing liquefied natural gas import facilities in the U.S. We couldn't have foreseen the tremendous shale revolution that has led to an abundant, affordable supply of gas in the United States. And I think the transition of the U.S. grid really built on the backbone of gas, supplementing renewables as the cost of renewables has come down and the acceleration and deployment of renewables has picked up. That has really been done on the backbone of gas. Now, obviously, we are quite fortunate geographically and geologically that we have had this shale revolution. For India, you don't have the natural resource here, but that's where I think where gas can compete is U.S. LNG, the United States being a player in this space. It is my fundamental belief that as the U.S. puts more supply into the global market, that will ultimately bring down the cost of gas, address some of the price sensitivity and challenges that India faces, and really will make gas competitive so that it can compete in ancillary services and complement renewables so that India can achieve both their targets for increasing the utilization of gas and accelerating the deployment of renewables.
Our experience, prior experience with FERC and with the American regulatory system is that just like India, you have a federal structure. And how does FERC and how does the American government and how do the American people deal with the various pressures that come from having cooperative and sometimes competitive federalism?
So, yes, the term we use in the U.S. is cooperative federalism. You have to have that balance between state and federal interests. Some of the challenges we're facing is, on occasion, when state policies, and I'm a big believer in states' rights. I think states ought to have the ability to make decisions about their local energy futures. But on occasion, when those state policy initiatives come in conflict with the efficient functioning of markets, the federal government may have to step in. And unfortunately, we at the Commission have been put in a difficult situation where a number of states are taking actions that are distorting price signals and impacting and inhibiting the efficiency of markets. So we've had to make some difficult choices that our state regulatory colleagues are frustrated with, but we made the calculation that preserving these markets, preserving that the American consumer, the American economy, and the American environment have benefited from these markets, and I want to make sure that these markets work. And sometimes that involves making difficult choices when there's tension between state and federal policy.
All right. Finally, going forward, what do you think are the opportunities that we can work on as two countries, as two cooperatives in independent regulation?
So I think I'm very optimistic and encouraged by the bilateral dialogue that we're having with CERC. We're currently looking at signing a memorandum of understanding to really codify our working relationship. I think as India looks to really invest in its energy sector, that will mean opportunity for the U.S., not just in the traditional sense of selling the commodity, selling the gas. There'll be opportunities for U.S. capital to invest in India. There'll be opportunity for technology manufacturers to access the Indian market. And so I think when these two great democracies get together and work in a bilateral function, it will benefit both countries.
Thank you, Chairman Chatterjee.
Thank you for having me.